Starting to collect Pokemon cards in 2025 can feel like trying to catch a legendary Pokemon with a Pokeball. Exciting, but absolutely overwhelming. When I see new collectors make the same expensive mistakes I made earlier this year, it honestly hurts. From falling into every FOMO trap to what I call developing shiny cardboard syndrome. I've been there, done that, and bought that overpriced Elite Trainer box from Paldea Evolved to prove it. In this video, I'm sharing my honest advice for anyone just starting to collect Pokemon cards in 2025. The real talk that'll save you hundreds of dollars and countless headaches. And trust me, your wallet will thank you later. The reality check. Your goals will change. And that's okay. Let's start with something nobody tells new collectors. Your collecting goals are probably going to change. A lot. And that's completely normal. When I first got back into collecting, I had this grand vision of completing master sets, every single card from every single set. I was going to be the ultimate Pokemon card completionist. Fast forward just a month, and I was drowning in cards I didn't actually want, spending money I didn't have, and questioning every life choice that led me to own 17 different Bidoof cards. Then I swung to the opposite extreme and decided I'd collect anything I liked. Spoiler alert, when you're passionate about Pokemon, you like everything. This is what I call kid in the candy store phase, and it's financially dangerous. Eventually, I found my sweet spot, collecting specific Pokemon that actually mean something to me, plus some sealed products and graded cards. But here's the thing, this evolution took time, and that's perfectly fine. The key is being honest with yourself about what you actually want versus what you think you should want. Don't feel pressure to have it all figured out on day one. Your collection should really reflect your personality, not some arbitrary standard of what makes a good collector. Speaking of standards, let's talk about something that'll save you serious money right from the start. The MSRP hunt, why patience pays off. Here's your first reality. Finding Pokemon products at MSRP or manufacturer's suggested retail price is like finding a shiny Pokemon in the wild. Possible, but it requires patience and strategy. Most big box stores like Target, Walmart, Costco, they get cleaned out faster than a Snorlax at a buffet. When they do have stock, it's usually gone within less than 15 minutes of hitting the shelves. This has created a secondary market where local card shops or people mark up products significantly higher than MSRP. Now, I'm not saying don't support your local card shops. These businesses provide valuable services to the community. But understand that you're paying a premium for those prices. That Elite Trainer box that costs $60 at Target might be like $90 at your local card shop. They're not trying to rip you off. They just can't compete with big retailers' bulk purchasing power. My advice, set up stock alerts using today's sponsor, PokeNotify. PokeNotify monitors hundreds of sites worldwide, so you'll know the moment products drop. No more refreshing pages all day. You can try it free for 3 days down below, and if you decide to stick with it, use the code PALETPICS25 to get 25% off your first month. PokeNotify is how I personally acquire sealed product at MSRP, all from the comfort of my own home. Link is down below in the description. Yes, it's frustrating to miss out on releases, but paying 50% markup because you can't wait is how you blow through your budget in the first month. And trust me, managing that budget is crucial, especially when you're dealing with what I call the collector's biggest enemy. Shiny cardboard syndrome, the budget killer. Let me introduce you to a term I coined, shiny cardboard syndrome. It's that overwhelming urge to buy every beautiful card that you see, regardless of whether it fits your collection goals or your budget. It's real, it's dangerous, and it's probably going to happen to you. The symptoms are easy to spot. You walk into a card show or card shop with a $50 budget, and somehow you leave with a card that's worth $300. You tell yourself each purchase is just this once. You start justifying expensive cards because it's an investment. Spoiler, some cards are not. The cure, set specific collecting goals and stick to them, or set a budget. If you're collecting Charizard cards, that beautiful Umbreon might be tempting, but it's not helping you reach your collecting goal. If you're focusing on a current set, don't get distracted by cards from other sets, no matter how cool they look. I learned this the expensive way. I once spent $200 in a single card shop visit on cards that look cool, but had nothing to do with what I was actually collecting. Half of them I sold already, half of them are still sitting in my binder and I barely open it. This mocked my poor decision-making skills at that time. Which brings me to another trap that catches almost every new collector. The FOMO trap. Not every set deserves your money. Fear of missing out, or FOMO, is the Pokemon card industry's best friend, and your wallet's worst enemy. Every few months, a new set drops with massive hype, limited time products, and collectors screaming that you need to get in on this action. Here's the truth. You don't need to collect every set that comes out. In fact, trying to do so is a fast track to bankruptcy and collection burnout. I've seen new collectors spend thousands of dollars on cards trying to keep up with every new release. They buy into sets they don't actually like because everyone else is hyping them up. Then 6 months later, they're trying to sell those same cards at a loss because they need money for the next must-have set or something happens. My rule is simple. If a set doesn't genuinely excite you, skip it. First, finish the set that you're working on or put it on pause. There will always be another set, another chase card, another opportunity. The cards aren't going anywhere, and neither is your chance to collect them later if you change your mind. Focus on quality over quantity. It's better to enjoy collecting one or two sets than to half-heartedly chase every new set that gets released. Now let's talk about something that can save you money on the cards you do decide to collect. The condition compromise, when perfect isn't necessary. Here's a money-saving secret that took me way too long to learn. For your personal collection, card condition isn't always as important as you think. Sometimes. When I started collecting, I was obsessing with near mint condition. Every card had to be perfect. No edge wear, no scratches, perfect centering. This perfectionism was costing me like 20 to 40% more per card. And for what? Cards that would live in my binder and never be resold, and all I do is look at them? The reality is that a lightly played, moderately played, or sometimes even a heavily played card might look identical in the front as to a near mint card. Unless you're planning to grade the card or resell it, those minor imperfections on the back or edges don't affect your enjoyment at all. Now, I'm not saying buy damaged cards. There's a difference between minor wear and actually being damaged. But being flexible on condition can significantly stretch your budget. That $50 card in near mint condition might be $35 in lightly played condition. And if it's going straight into your raw card binder, you just saved $15 for your next purchase. Of course, if you're collecting with investment in mind, condition matters more, or if you're grading, condition matters more. But for pure enjoyment from just the appeal look of cards, don't let perfectionism drain your wallet. Now, speaking of investments, let's discuss what actually holds value over time. The value game, what actually appreciates. If you're collecting with an eye toward future value, and let's be honest, most of us are at least a little curious about this, there are some patterns worth knowing. First, sealed products almost always outperform individual cards over the long run. That booster box might cost $120 today, but in 5 years, it could be worth like over $1,500. Meanwhile, that single $30 card might be worth $40 within a year or so. Sealed product becomes increasingly rare as time passes because people open packs, but no one can create new sealed product from the past that Pokemon stops printing. Second, popular Pokemon from older generations tend to hold value better. We're talking about the heavy hitters. Charizard, Pikachu, the original 151 starters, Gengar, Mewtwo, Mew, the legendary birds, Dragonite. From later generations, look for Rayquaza, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Giratina, Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, Lucario, Tyranitar, Umbreon, Espeon. All these Pokemon have proven their staying power over decades. They have dedicated fan bases that aren't going anywhere. A Charizard card from 2025 has a better chance of holding value than that random Bidoof. But here's the thing, don't collect purely for investment unless you really want to. The market is unpredictable and you should never spend more money you can't afford to lose. Collect what you love first, and if it happens to appreciate in value, consider that a bonus. That's one way to approach it. Now let's talk about funding this hobby without going broke. Side hustles, making your hobby pay for itself. Here's where things get interesting. Your Pokemon card hobby doesn't have to be a money pit. In fact, it can help fund itself through various side hustles. Selling cards is the most obvious option. Platforms like eBay, TCG Player, Whatnot, and local Facebook groups all offer opportunities to turn your extras into cash. The key insight, you don't have to sell below market price. There's actually a market of collectors willing to pay 10 or 50% above market price for mint condition cards, especially on eBay. I learned this the hard way after initially underpricing everything. That $10 card, someone might pay $15 for it if it's in a really perfect condition and it's well photographed. Now it seems small, but those extra dollars can add up quickly. Content creation is another avenue. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There's an audience for Pokemon content at every level. You don't need to be an expert. People love following along with someone else's collecting journey. Even if you never monetize directly, the connections you can make can lead to trading opportunities and buy and sell opportunities, and sometimes insider information about like restocks or something. Trading is perhaps the most underutilized strategy. Instead of spending money, you can swap cards you don't need for ones that you want. It's completely free and often more fun than just buying. Join Discord servers, Facebook groups, Discord alert servers, attend local trade nights. Sometimes you can even trade up in value if someone really wants your card. But before you start trading, you need to know the value of what you have, including those cards you might be overlooking. The bulk gold mine. Your worthless cards aren't worthless. When I first started collecting, I made a huge mistake. I tossed all my common and uncommon cards into a box and forgot about them. Sometimes I'd even give them away for free. This was a big mistake. Here's what I learned. Your bulk cards are more valuable than you think. Local card shops often pay around $5 for every 1,000 bulk cards. That might not sound like much, but if you're opening a lot of packs, it adds up quickly. More importantly, some trainer cards and even some commons and uncommons have significant value to competitive players. Cards like Ultra Ball, Boss's Orders, and Professor's Research might seem ordinary, but they're staples in competitive play and can sell for $1 to $5 each. Even basic energies from certain sets can be worth money. I now regularly sort through my bulk and list valuable cards individually. This has helped me recoup 5 to 10% of what I actually open up sealed product for. It's not life-changing money, but it's enough to fund my next purchase. The lesson: don't throw anything away until you've checked its value. That boring trainer card might be someone else's missing piece for the competitive deck. And speaking of competitive play, let's talk about the social aspect of collecting. The trading revolution. Why swapping beats shopping. Trading is hands down the most fun and most cost-effective way to grow your collection, yet it's criminally underutilized by new collectors. Think about it. Instead of spending money, you're swapping cards you don't need for ones that you actually want. It's free, it's social, and it often leads to better deals than just buying. The key to successful trading is preparation. Put together a trade binder filled with your cards you're willing to part with. Know the approximate value of your cards. You don't need to memorize every price, but have a good sense of what's valuable. Be fair in your trades, because reputation matters in the collecting community. Local card shops often have trade nights. Discord servers and Facebook groups are also another way to find trade nights. You can even list your extras on platforms like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp specifically for trading. Sometimes you can trade up in value if someone really wants your card more than you want theirs. I once traded a card worth $20 for one worth $30 because the other collector needed mine to complete a set. Win-win situations like this are what make trading so rewarding. The social aspect is just as valuable as the financial benefits. Every trade is an opportunity to meet someone who shares your passion, learn about new sets or strategies, and potentially form lasting relationships with the community. The sealed strategy, building long-term value. Now, if you're interested in collecting sealed products, and you might be, here's my priority list based on my past few months of collecting. Booster boxes should be prioritized first. Elite trainer boxes are second, and then booster bundles. Booster boxes are great because they hold a lot of packs and occupy the least amount of space, and they're really likely to appreciate significantly over time. They're also impressive display pieces, and they also give you the option to open them later if you change your mind. The key is buying them at near or at MSRP, and then have the discipline to not open them. Elite trainer boxes are the sweet spot for most collectors. They're affordable enough to buy, and they look great on the shelf. And they also contain enough packs to be satisfying when you do decide to open them. Plus, they come with all those extra perks that make them feel special, like extra promo cards. For special or ultra premium collection boxes, focus on ones featuring the original 151 Pokemon. These have proven staying power because nostalgia and broad appeal. Also look for promo artwork that feels timeless rather than trendy. Classic poses and artwork styles tend to age better than flashy modern designs. One of the hardest parts about sealed collecting isn't buying the products, it's not opening them. I failed this test a couple times than I care to admit, and that's why I recommend starting small and building up your discipline over time. After all of this advice about budgets, strategies, and value retention, here's the most important thing I can tell you. There's no right way to collect Pokemon cards. I've met collectors who focus on sleeping Pokemon, other collectors who only collect waters in the background, and some who even build a Pokédex style binder with one of each Pokemon. I also know people who only collect Japanese cards, others who focus on misprints, and collectors who only buy cards featuring their favorite artist's work. The joy of collecting comes from building something that makes you happy, not what others think you should collect. Whether you're completing master sets, hunting down every Houndoom ever printed, or just gathering cards with artwork that speaks to you, make sure your collection brings you joy. I spent too much time early on trying to collect what I thought I should collect, rather than what actually excited me. So, learn from my mistakes, start small, set realistic goals, and don't try to build Rome in one day. Focus on having fun collecting, connecting with other collectors, and building something that makes you smile every time you look at it. The Pokemon card community is incredibly welcoming, so don't be afraid to ask questions, seek advice, and share your excitement. And a huge thank you to today's sponsor, PokeNotify, the tool I personally use to grab sealed product at MSRP without wasting hours refreshing pages. You can try it free for 3 days, and if you decide to stick with it, use the code PALETPICS25 for 25% off your first month. Link is down below in the description. Now, multiple times I've mentioned how sealed product seems to be a pretty good long-term buy. If you're interested in learning how to start investing into Pokemon cards, make sure to watch this video next.